Welcome to the story room. I have an African folktale for you, The Animal's Dam. Ugh, it was dry, said Uta, as dry as last year's spring biltong. For a long time, the old man in the sky shed down strong light and sucked all the water out of the veld. From morning to night he poured down hotness on the world, and when he rolled round to sleep, hot wind blew, and blew, and blew, till he woke to shine again. The karoo bushes dried up, the rivers had no water, and the poor animals began to die from thirst. It was such a drought as you have never seen. At last, Liu called the animals together to make a plan. The sun had gone under, and the Lady Moon was sailing in the sky, beautiful as she always is, and looking down on the hot world. Liu sat under a krantz, where it was a little cool, and the others sat round him like a watermelon slice. Leopard, hyena, baboon, jackals, hare, and tortoise were in front. They were the top of the order. The smaller ones, like dassy, meerkat, and hedgehogs, were at the sides, and zebra, springbok, ostrich, and giraffe waited in the veld to hear the news. They pretended to be eating, but all the time their ears went backwards and forwards to catch every little sound, and they were ready at the first sign of danger to race away, kicking up the dust so that Liu would not be able to see them. But they needn't have been afraid. Liu was too hot and tired and weak to catch anything. He just sat against the krantz with his dry tongue hanging out, and the others just lay around about the watermelon slice with their dry tongues hanging out, and every time they looked at the sky to see if any clouds were coming up. But no, the sky was just like a big hot soup poured over their heads, and the Lady Moon making a silver road across it, and the little stars shining like bits broken off the big hot sun. There was nothing that even looked like a cloud. At last Liu pulled it in his tongue and rolled it about in his mouth to get the dryness off. When it stopped rattling, he began to talk. "Friends and brothers and nephews," he said. Yes, just like that, Liu began. He was so miserable that he felt friendly with them all. "Friends and brothers and nephews, it is time to make a plan. You know how it is with a drought. When it is at its worst, the bottom of the cloud falls out, and the water runs away fast to the sea, where there is too much water already, and the poor karoo is left again without any. Even if a land rain comes, it just sinks in because the ground is too loose and dry to hold it. So we must make a plan to keep the water, and my plan is to dig a dam. But it's no use for one or two to work. Everyone must help. What do you say?" "Certainly," said Leopard. "Certainly," said Hyena. "Certainly," said Ant Bear. "Certainly," said the Jackals. But he winked his eye at Lady Moon, and then put his nose into the warm sand so that no one could see his sly smile. All the other animals said certainly, and they began to talk about the dam. Dear land, a person would never have said their throats were dry, but each one had a different plan, and each one talked without listening to the other. It was like a church bazaar. Yes, long ago, when Uta was young, he was on a bazaar in the village, but he was glad when he could creep into the veld again and get the noise out of his ears. At last the water tortoise, he was with a wise little head under the patchwork shell, said, "Let us go now while it is cool and look for a place for the dam." So they hunted about and found a nice place, and soon they began to make the dam. They scratched, they dug, they poked, they bored, they pushed, and they rolled, and they did their best so that the dam could be ready when the rain came. Only Lazy Jackal did not work. He just roamed around saying to the others, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" Till at last they asked, "Why don't you do it yourself?" The Jackals only laughed at them. "And why should I be so foolish as to scratch my nails off for your old dam?" he said. "But you said certainly too when asked us, didn't you?" they asked. Then Jackals laughed more than ever. "Ha ha ha! Am I a slave of my word? That was last night. Don't you know a thing is one color by moonlight and is quite another color when the sun shines on it? Ha ha ha!" So he went about bothering the poor animals that were working so hard and laughing at them when they got hot and tired. What's the use of working so hard? Those who do not work will also drink. "How do you know?" they asked. "Wait a bit, you'll see," said sly Jackals, winking his eye again. At last the dam was finished, and that very night the rain began. It kept on and on till the dam was quite full, and the water began to run away over the veld down to the great big dam called the sea. That is the mother of all water, and so broad that you truly can't see the wall at the other side, even when you stand on a high hill. Yes, so Uta has heard from truth-telling people the milk bushes and karoo bushes grew green again, and the little veld flowers burst forth of the hard ground and opened their white, blue, and pink and purple eyes to look at the sun. They were like variegated coasts spread out on the veld, and the old man in the sky was not so fierce any more. He did not burn them with his hotness, but looked at them kindly. And the animals were touched so glad for the water. From far and near they came to drink from the dam. But Jackals was before them all. Soon after the sun went down, the wild animals sleep in the daytime and hunt in the night. He went to the dam and drank as much water as he wanted, filled his clay pot with some to take home. Then he swam round and round to get cool, making the water muddy and dirty. And when the other animals came to drink, he slipped over the dam wall and was lost to the veld, as if he had been a large pin. My, but Oomloo was very angry. Hurrah, he roared. Roar! What is this for a thing? Does the lazy one think he can share with the workers? Who ever heard of such a thing? Roar! Here, Borbayan, take this big Kiri and hide yourself by the dam tonight, so that you can catch this vagabond, this water stealer. Early that night, there was Jackals again. He peeped this way and that way. And yes, truly there was old Brer Babian, lying amongst the bushes, but Jackals was too slick for him. He made as if he didn't see him. He danced along his hind legs all around the edge of the dam, singing, "Hing ding ding, hong make a ding, my sweet, sweet water." He sang this over and over, and every time he came to the end of the line, he dipped his fingers into the clay pot and sucked them. "Ah, but my honey is nice," he said, licking his lips. "What do I want with their dirty old water when I have this whole pot full of nice, sweet water?" Baboons will do anything for honey. And when old Brer Babian heard Jackals, he forgot he was there to guard the dam. He crept out from his hiding place, a little nearer, and at last he couldn't keep quiet any longer. When Jackals came dancing along again, he called out in a great hurry, "Good evening, Jackals. Please give me a little of your sweet water too." "Arr!" said Jackals, jumping to one side and pretending to be startled. "What a fright you gave me. What are you doing here, Brer Babian?" "Oh no, Jackals. I'm just taking a little walk. It's such a fine night. But why have you got that big Kiri? Only to dig out inchies? Do you really want some of my sweet water?" "Yes, please, Jackals," said Brer Babian, licking his lips. "And what will you give me for it?" "I'll let you fill your pot with water from the dam." "Oh, I don't want any of that dirty old dam water. But I know how fond you are of this sweet water, Brer, so I'll let you drink some. Here, I'll hold your Kiri while you drink." Brer Babian was in such a hurry to get the honey, he just threw the Kiri to the Jackals. But just as he was going to put his fingers into the pot, Jackals pulled it away. "No, wait a bit, Brer," he said. "I'll show you a better way. It will taste much nicer if you lay down." "Ach, no, really, Jackals?" "Yes, really," said Jackals. "And if you don't lie down at once, you won't get a drop of my sweet water." He spoke so crossly, and Babian was so tame by this time, he was ready to believe anything. So he lay down, and Jackal stood over him with his knapsack reim. "Now, brother, first I'll tie you with my reim, and then I'll feed you with the honey." Yes, said Brer Babian quickly. His mouth was watering for the honey. He couldn't think of anything else, and he had long ago forgotten about looking after the dam. It goes so when a person thinks only of what he wants and not of what he must. So he then let Jackals tie his hands and feet and even his tail. Then he opened his mouth wide. But Jackals only danced round and round, sticking his fingers into the pot and licking them and singing, "Hing, ting, ting, honka, make a ding, my sweet, sweet water, where's mine?" cried Brer Babian. "You said you would feed me. Where's my sweet water?" "Here's all the sweet water you'll get from me," said Jackals, and crack, he gave poor Brer Babian a hit with the curry. "Burgum, burgum." "Help!" screamed Brer Babian and tried to roll away, but there was no one to help him, so he could only scream and roll over, and each time he rolled over, Jackals hit him again. Crack! At last he squeezed the clay pot, and there was never any honey in it at all. Over Brer Babian's head while he ran off and drank as much water as he wanted and swam and stirred up the mud. Then he took the clay pot off of Brer Babian's head, filled it with water, dancing off, singing, "Hing, ting, ting, honk and make it ding, my sweet, sweet water. Goodbye, brother," he called out. "I hope you enjoy the sweet water you'll get from Oomloo when he sees how well you've looked after the dam." Poor old Brer Babian was so miserable, but he was even more unhappy after Oomloo had punished him and set him on a large stone for the other animals to mock at. It was sad. They came in a long string, big ones and little ones, and each one stopped in front of the big stone and stuck out his tongue, then turned around and stuck out his tail. Yes, so rude they were to Burbabian, till the poor old animal got ashamed, and sat all in a heap, hanging down his head, trying not to see how they were mocking him. When all the animals had passed on and drunk water, Umlu untied Bebi and Brer and let him go, and off he went to the Crenzies as fast as he could with his tail between his legs. And that is all for tonight, my friends. It's too long to finish now.